So, this week we focused on the topic of digital communication, and before getting deep into the discussion, I wanted to define it. I found this definition from vocabulary.com, which states digital communication as electronic transmission of information that has been encoded digitally. My first thought when thinking about the meaning of digital communication is obviously the topic of social media and its prominence in people interacting with one another on a day to day basis. When I was asked in class the question of whether organisations and big companies should have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, I personally believe definitely without a doubt. I understand there is a lot of negative risks that come along with a company having their own social media platforms, and I understand there is a lot of risks involved with allowing employees to use their social media accounts in terms of defamation laws, inappropriate messaging, getting distracted in the workforce, and things like that. But I think for sure companies should have their own social media platforms. Since it is such a prominent tool in this day and age, I feel as though it is highly significant for businesses to create their own accounts in order to maintain interaction with their users and audiences and things like that. I also think, looking at it in a public relations perspective, it is really important, especially for big businesses to have their own Facebook page and Twitter page and things like that in order to actively engage with their publics. And obviously in terms of negative comments made by users, it's important for businesses to have a social media platform so that they can respond to various publics' feedback, particularly for the reason of pre-crisis monitoring and as a crisis response tool within their social media plans. I think digital communication is a very important factor in maintaining a client's reputation, particularly if even if you're an organisation that's representing an important public figure or a celebrity. And obviously public relations practitioners of big businesses need to put media at the centre of their social media strategy to keep in contact, and in constant communication with their audiences so that they can respond to any questions, especially if they're negative that might stir some sort of controversy towards their brand. I thought this week's topic of digital communication definitely tied in with my group's presentation that I did this week, which focused on social media in China, which I still find really interesting regarding the fact that by the government banning certain social media platforms, those predominantly being the westernized ones, they thought it would fully rule out any online communication and digital communication so that they could monitor Chinese users. And however, after doing a lot of research into China's top 10 most popular social media platforms, I thought it was really interesting to find that pretty much every single app that was a copy of the westernized ones were basically, I just question why they've banned them if they've remade the exact same social media platforms, basically. So obviously if users are still able to undergo digital communication, but just in another form or another app, don't you think that the banning of some social media sites is kind of pointless? And so I guess I just want you to let me know in the description down below what you think and whether you believe that the banning of some social media sites in China is effective or ineffective, and how, I guess, they might be able to prevent these problems of being able to, monitor everyone if they're just going to recreate the same apps of westernized ones. So thanks very much.